So in the first part of the interview, we talk about the consultancy sector in general in Singapore. Now we're going to focus on the Spanish consultants and the opportunities that are here in Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the opportunities do you believe, Alex, that are really interesting for the Spanish consultants here in Singapore? Is there any subsector within consultancy that maybe they may demand a higher talent that the Spanish can provide?
Right. I would say in Singapore and almost everywhere, there's a huge demand now for digital talent, right? As I said, not only problem solvers or consultants with digital transformation experience, but also people with the actual skills to build the solutions that the clients are requiring, right? So software engineers, UX designers, data scientists, if you have those skills, consulting actually, even though it's not traditionally where you think you would go because there's these tech companies, actually consulting now is also a great place to be with those skills because there's a lot of demand for that.
Yeah.
There's also, climate change now is front and center in everyone's agenda, and consulting firms are definitely being advisors to companies to help them transition and build more sustainable business models, and, for example, helping banks measure and mitigate and manage the risk of their portfolios with climate change. So if you have experience in sustainability and these sectors, that will be really in high demand right now. And thirdly, I work a lot in the private equity business, and over the past years, both in terms of deals and capital deployed, it has grown massively. So experience not only in the investment side, helping them assess different targets, but also in after they acquire a company, help them create value and grow these companies. That's also a very, very high demand right now. So I would say these are three key subsectors where would be great to join if you have those skills.
So 3 key words: technology, environment or climate change, and private equity and investment.
I'll say that.
Perfect, Alex. And what do you think about how we're perceived in Singapore? So the Spanish consultants, Spanish consultants are well regarded here in Singapore?
So I haven't done a very thorough study. I have anecdotal evidence, but I remember when I joined Oliver Wyman in my first year, I was very surprised because there were 2 partners that were from Spain, and that's like almost 10% of the partner population, right? Yeah. And one of these partners eventually became the market leader of Southeast Asia region in Oliver Wyman. And then I heard that one of our competitors in MBB, the market leader in Southeast Asia, is also from Spain. So I was like, what's happening here, right? So if I think about why, maybe there's maybe just anecdotes, but I think clients here in this region really value the experiences that these professionals have had in Spain, working with leading banks or leading companies in Europe, and then building and transferring those skills and knowledge to help grow, and especially in some of these developing markets, right? And also, as you think about more senior roles, this is a people business, right? So building relationships, building trust with clients is really key. So for example, one of the partners who's Spanish in Oliver Wyman has a very close client relationship with CEOs at banks here in Singapore. And I think the soft skills that some of the Spanish professionals have enabled to build these trusted relationships and friendships even with some clients, which eventually translates into business for the company.
Yeah, so we are really well regarded here.
I would say so.
Well, your experience says so. And do you consider, just your personal opinion, Alex, that Spanish consultants have job opportunities here in Singapore?
So definitely yes, but I would say, many countries right now, for example, before hiring a foreigner, not only a Spanish, but they have to justify why they are not hiring local talent, right? And as I said, Singapore has one of the best education systems in the world, so the local talent is not missing here, right? So think about what you bring also as a Spanish or foreigner, right? That's why you maybe see more senior profiles being hired from Spain, because they have these unique experiences that they're bringing. At a junior level, I would still say there's still opportunities for you to join, but maybe you have to think about more the long-term path. So maybe from A to B, maybe it's not the most straightforward path, but say, for example, you want to be in Singapore or Asia, well, maybe just applying directly from Spain will be challenging, but if you, say, for example, do a master's or do a program like either ethics, or I personally also studied university here in Singapore before joining the company. That's a way where you can build your network here, show your commitment to the region and the country, and then maybe that will also help to transfer.
Yeah, that makes things more easier.
Or even maybe it's always easier to get hired in your local market. So if you join an international company, say one of these consulting firms, they have offices all around the world. So maybe even though you really want to work internationally or work in Singapore, maybe joining the local market first, do 2 or 3 years there, and then ask for transfer opportunities. That's usually also a traditional way where a lot of people end up here. Maybe it's not the most direct and short route, but it's always it's one of the channels that you can use.
Yes, well, take notes. And finally, Alex, I want you to give a final piece of advice to maybe the Spanish consultants that are working in Spain but want to pursue an international career like yourselves? So what advice would you give them?
I would say exactly what I said before, right? Think about maybe the long-term path and be strategic about how you think about your transition. So either by studying there or maybe, working through your company of international opportunities, that could be a really great way. And also as well, maybe Singapore is really good because English is the main language, but in other markets, maybe there's some language requirements. So think about, okay, in specific countries, what are the requirements to succeed in that country as a consultant? And if you are passionate about learning languages, then learn the language and then it will be easier, maybe especially in these markets like that have local language requirements.
Well, thank you so much, Alex, for the information and advice you have provided.
Thank you for having me, it's been great.
I hope to see you singing the Spanish Sling.
Yes.
So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And see you next time with more interviews.